If you want to rank up in Rocket League, you need to figure out what's holding you back. But each rank comes with a new challenge, and as the ranks go up, so does the need to find your next bottleneck, and then fix it. Now, the only problem is that most people actually have no clue what's even holding them back. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down one key reason that you're hard stuck for every single rank in the game, how to fix these mistakes, and how to start ranking up faster. So let's get right into it with the first two ranks, which are bronze and silver. And I'm grouping these together because for them, the only reason you're hard stuck is because you haven't played the game enough. In these ranks, you simply just don't have the hours sunk into the game to have a good grasp of the physics. Stuff like how the ball bounces and how hitting the ball, with certain parts of your car, like the corners, gets softer and harder touches. All sorts of stuff like that. So, to get out of bronze and silver, you simply need to put more hours into the game to build a better understanding of basic mechanics. For this, I recommend doing the in-game striker and goalie trainings, or simply just hitting the ball around in free play and figuring out how everything works. Now moving on to gold. In gold, most players have way more time than they think, and because they don't realize that, they just throw away the ball and give away possession for no real reason. So to get out of gold, you just need to get comfortable taking your time and not rushing things, because this leads to whiffs that literally cost you games. Instead, you need to slow down, look at where your opponents are, and you'll notice often that they're way further away than you actually think. Then, once you notice this, you can start to take time, and that leads to better touches, more offensive chances, and cleaner defense. Now the thing about Platinum is that a lot of people already have a decent understanding of how the game works, and they start to realize what plays are possible and what plays aren't. Now the problem comes in when plat players start to think that they can do plays that are basically just too complicated for their mechanical skill to follow. In this rank, you don't need flip resets, stealing shots, and air dribbles to climb. Contrary to what a lot of commenters will say, plat is not a mechanical rank. To get out of plat, you just need to keep the game simple and practice your fundamentals like solid positioning, clean back post rotations, and straightforward mechanics like shooting, dribbling, maybe some basic flicks. To train these fundamentals, I recommend getting a better player to look at your gameplay and tell you what it is that you're struggling with in specific, because it's often very hard for players to notice their own mistakes, especially if you're a player who's platinum, because you might just tell yourself the wrong mistakes or get wrong conclusions. Now you can do this either with a friend or with a coach like me. More on that later into the video. Now in Diamond, I can tell you guys that over coaching lots of Diamond players over the last few weeks and even months, I've come to realize a super common reason that Diamond players struggle both on offense and defense. And that's because they struggle with poor second man positioning. The problem lies in the fact that most players in Diamond are simply too close to their teammates as last man. And this leads to them getting awkward, and if anything ever goes badly, right? For example, their teammate can lose a 50, the ball will not only go over their teammate, but also themselves. Whereas if they were a bit further back, they then would have been able to face the play, not have to turn around and all of that stuff, but instead they would have had a free ball instead. Now, to fix this, you need to actively remind yourself to stay further back as a second man, and not creep up too close. Now, the easiest way that I've found to do this is to stop flipping and boosting all the time. So whenever you're second man, just think about, okay, I'm just going to drive. I'm going to hold my drive, and sometimes even go as far as letting go of your accelerator and feathering it slower like you would your boost. Now this makes it that you're naturally further back from the play, you don't creep up too much into your teammate's bumhole, and then you're able to speed up when it's time for you to actually step in and make your play on the ball. Now for Champ, the issue I see with most Champ players is not actually something that's inside the game. It's not a mechanical issue, it's not a game sense issue, but often it's actually just a lack of mentality. And this comes from the fact, in my opinion, that Champ is already quite a high rank. So naturally, people have, a better understanding of the game, but this is where the Dunning-Kruger effect comes in, where champ players often think that they're a lot better than they actually are. So the reason this is bad is because whenever they lose games, right, they start to blame other factors than themselves for them losing. Now, whether that's, bad teammates, luck, bad matchmaking, whatever it might be. And these types of excuses are the killer of all improvement in this game, because they take away your focus from yourself and how you can play better next time to external forces that are largely out of your control anyway. So now, to fix this in Champ, you need to just master the one crazy useful skill of being self-critical. And this means constantly asking yourself one simple question whenever you concede a goal. And this question is, what could I have done better? Because even if the goal is mostly your teammate's fault, even if you think they should have made the save, or they shouldn't have missed that ball, or they were badly positioned, whatever it might be, there's hardly ever in the Rocket League a situation where you made the perfect play, where you couldn't have done anything even just slightly better in any way, and you still conceded. That just doesn't really happen. So figuring out how you can play better is the fastest way out of Champ and to finally hit that GC rank. Now, moving on to Grand Champ. Most players who are stuck in GC are, in my opinion, players who get comfortable playing the game, and they often kind of forget to review their own gameplay entirely. Now, regardless of what the reason is for why they don't review, this is a huge reason why progress starts to plateau. GC players often just play aimless, mindless, and pretty much autopilot ranked games, and end entire seasons with hundreds or even thousands of games every single season while still having little to no progress to show for it. So to fix this, you need to start doing one very simple thing, which is replay reviews. And you don't need to put a lot of time into this. And I know you've heard this a million times and you're thinking, well, I just wanted the actual, new thing. I wanted a new tip, a new secret. Well, I'm here to tell you that there is no secret to ranking up. There's no simple hack that I could give you in this video that would just give you, out of GC and get to SSL quickly. Because that doesn't exist. Everyone who's gotten out of GC to SSL has not had some secret sauce, but rather they've done the simple basics over and over again until they got so good at them that they could not lose. And the way you get to that point is by watching your replays back. Even just watching one replay a week is enough as a starting point to see what mistakes you're even making. What is making you concede and ultimately lose games? Because if you think about it, you can only improve at anything if you actually know what to improve on. So if I ask you right now, what is your biggest mistake that you make that's making you lose games? What is a mistake that you're currently working on fixing? Most people who are watching this video would not be able to answer that question. And that is the problem right there. Finding out your most common problems is essential to consistently getting better. So the way that I would go about doing this is that I would watch replays of mine that I lost, right? Because losses teach us more than games that we win. And preferably pick close games. So pick 1-goal losses. Don't pick 5-0 losses where you got tilted and your teammate started trolling and you guys were toxic to each other. Those games don't teach you anything. But instead pick close games, but still games that you lost preferably, and then start watching through those games. See what you did well, but also see what you did badly. And start to notice why you concede especially. Those are the most important parts of each game. Why you concede. The 15 seconds leading up to the goal that you concede. Why did it happen? And once you notice what has, been the problem, you write that down. You literally actively write it down and say, okay, I didn't rotate back post. I went ball side. This is why I conceded. Now you have a focus for the next week, 2 weeks, whatever time, you want to allocate to it, to purely focus on that. So whenever you get on the game, you just get online, you look at your notes and you see, okay, I need to rotate back post more. Okay, I need to take time more, whatever it might be, right? Whatever your kind of issue is. and then you remind yourself of it before you start playing, and obviously during your session, and you just try and fix it, and you play it that way. And that is the best way for you to get better at doing that. And if you enjoyed this video, and you like how I explain things, I'm a coach on Medify, where I do one-on-one coaching in which we basically, go through some of your replays together, and I'll tell you your biggest, most costly mistakes, how to fix these mistakes, and give you a simple plan to move forward on your Rocket League improvement. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to check out the first link in the description, which will be my Medify. Thank you guys for watching all the way to the end of this video. I appreciate it a lot. Good luck in your games, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.